Hey, hockey fans, so great to be back. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Do you know what time it is? It's hockey time. That's right, we are back from the Lawrence Tech Studios here at State Champs.
CHAMPS Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Hey, welcome back in. It's so great to be back here talking puck with you, talking puck with this guy. Who is this guy? He's J Kidd, John Kidd. Johnny, Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holiday.
Yes, I did, and hope you had a good one as well. And we got a great show for you this week. Highlights across the state, including the outdoor game out at Clark Park in Detroit. I sat down with Ricky DeSana, the head coach at Riverview, Gabriel Richard, in our Coach's Corner segment. Our main event, presented by the Alta Equipment Company, is the big KLAA clash between Livonia Stevenson and Heartland.
All right, hey, let's get to those highlights right now.
It's a big league game for us here, okay? They want to challenge us. We accept the challenge with arms wide open here. We make sure we play our game, and that's all we're worried about.
And we begin in the Metro League. East Division matchup is the two-time defending Division III state champs, Detroit Country Day. They're at home to take on the Jaguars from Allen Park. Country Day coming into this game in a 5-game win streak. They would get on the board 7 minutes into the contest. The senior Max Schilling there to put home a rebound. The Yellow Jackets take a 1-0 lead. Allen Park comes in with a nice 8-3 record, and they would respond later in the period. Brendan Rachful with the steal, and he's off on the breakaway. The senior finishes by putting it in the back of the net, and we're tied at 1 after the opening period.
We got to stay aggressive. Got to play a little more intensity. Pick up the speed. We should be better in spirit, right? As the game goes on, you get your legs back. Okay. That was a decent start. We come out of here 1-1 in the first period. All right, we'll take that. Let's go. This period, put the hammer down. Okay.
The Jags would take the lead in the second. Rachful, and the puck just gets in. That's his second goal of the game. Allen Park goes into the third, leading 2-1. But back comes DCD. 4 minutes into the third, junior Noah Chu's shot gets through for the goal. We're tied up at 2 apiece. And the Yellow Jackets would answer again just over a minute later. Our National Coney Island Player of the Year candidate, Jacob Thomas, shot from the point is tipped in front. Lucas Kroll, and it goes into the back of the net. Country Day takes the lead again at 3-2. They would add some insurance late in the game. It would be Kroll once again as he turns and puts in his second of the contest. Detroit Country Day goes on to beat Allen Park 4-2 your final. We go to the west side of the state. Undefeated Matawan ready for the inaugural Mayor's Cup as they take on the host school, the Knights from Grand Rapids, Kennewa Hills. We pick things up midway through the first. Junior Max Parker risks in his first goal on the season. Wildcats take a 1-0 lead. But back comes Kennewa Hills just a few minutes later. They keep the puck in the zone. 2 shots are stopped, but Keenan Lamming is there to bang home his 8th goal on the year. We're tied at 1 after 1. Matawan responds with under 10 minutes to go in the second. Sophomore Joe Peterson snaps it from the point into the back of the net to give the Wildcats a 2-1 lead. More from Matawan. The senior, Cam Agnew, gets a steal. He goes on in, scores top shelf just as the horn sounds at the end of the second for his 10th goal on the season. Matawan heads into the third, leading by 2. But back comes Kennewa Hills in the final stanza. Darian Orr's pass is deflected by the goalie right to Jacob Raisinin. He scores. It's now 3-2. More from the Knights just moments later. Will Braun, the senior, buries it. We're tied up at 3. This one heads into overtime. Now, just a minute and a half into the extra session, The Knights caused the turnover, and it would be Raisin scoring on the wraparound. Grand Rapids Kennewa Hills hands Matawan its first loss on the season, 4-3, your final in overtime.
Enjoy this moment without getting caught up in it. Again, something we want you to remember for the rest of your lifetime, but we're also here to do a job. We worked on a lot of things these last couple weeks, and we're better than we were right before break.
I'm Lauren Plant, and we head outside. You heard me right. Southwest Detroit's Clark Park, the Pond, for the Fighting Irish of Pontiac Notre Dame Prep, taking on the Capital City Capitals from the Lansing area. Caps got as far as the Division I quarterfinals a season ago, picked this game up in a snowy second period. Game scoreless until the senior Brendan Melling will snap it into the back of the net. Notre Dame Prep looking for their 6th win of the season. 7 minutes to go in the period. David Moore passes to the senior Nicholas Popoff. Breakaway, 4th goal on the campaign. We were tied at 1 into the 3rd period. 6.5 minutes left in the game. Off the faceoff. Tried to get it to Ethan Bond. Prep tried to clear, but the junior Bond will intercept, cashing in. Capitals back out in front. Minutes later, they added another. He's got a license to snipe. The stick of Bond delivers his 2nd goal of the game. Cap City now led 3-1. But NDP wasn't going away. 2 minutes ago, man advantage. The team's leading scorer, Vincent Anderson, 14th goal of the season. Fighting Irish only down a goal. Notre Dame Prep had one last chance. 10 seconds left to even it up. Anderson in front, but Cap City netminder Yannick Lewandowski covers up. The Capital City Capitals hang on to beat Notre Dame Prep 3-2.
It's a great experience. I mean, like, not many kids get the experience come out here on an outdoor rink. Especially we got good conditions. It was snowing there for a little bit, which is really fun to play in. So it was just a great time.
Every win matters, and you know, we can come out here and we're just building. We lost 12 seniors last year, so we're just trying to get a foundation going and try and keep establishing what we have and continue some consistency. And today I thought we had a consistent effort for 51 minutes.
And welcome back inside the studio presented by the Alta Equipment Company. I'm here with Sean. Sean, Country Day and Allen Park played on Friday night, 4-2. My thing about Country Day is, you know, we've been talking about these other teams in Division III, Calumet, Grosse Pointe South, UD Jesuit. I think Country Day is that team again that's sneaking up again.
Yeah, you know what? You can't count them out at all. Frank's done such a tremendous job there. This has really been building to a crescendo. They're back-to-back champions, man. There's something to be said for that. Winning one is tough. Winning back-to-back, there's something to be said for that. I told you, I like this Allen Park team. I think there's a lot of talent down there, and I like the way that they conduct their business. They're one of those teams. You know, I bring this up a lot, John. I think what you're seeing a lot of schools and a lot of teams really start a social media presence. We bring up Howell a lot. I think Rocky and the gang have done a great job there. Allen Park is the same way, you know, and this is a team that's going to continue to go on the rise. Jags, certainly, if you're the Jags, you're sitting there going, well, how do we measure ourselves against one of the best? They can't feel too shabbily about that.
We go to the west side of the state. It was the inaugural Mayor's Cup between Grand Rapids, Kennewa Hills, and Matawan. Matawan came in undefeated on the season, but Kennewa Hills beat them at 4-3 in overtime.
Yeah, making a big statement out there. There's no doubt about that. You know, this is one of the things we've talked about the last few years. I think you've got your usual suspects out there on the west side, right? You know, Granville's been traditional power. Forest Hills NE, who are red hot right now, I might add, 9 straight. They've turned into a traditional power. I think Forest Hills Central. And then you've got West Ottawa, who's picked it up as of late. You got Byron Center. These are 2 teams to keep an eye on. There's great hockey being played out on the west side of the state. And so now you're seeing, you know, much like you see on the east side, you're seeing the traditional powers remain the traditional powers, but you're seeing other teams step up, making the game as a whole even better. So that's a big, big overtime win for Kennewa Hills.
All right, we went outside for the game between the Capital City Capitals and Notre Dame Prep. The game was played at Clark Park. Always a great time outside there.
Oh, love it. You and I, back in the day, we did some shows out there, and you know, I remember the frozen fish fiasco and all of that, seeing a lot of teams out there and a lot of coverage out
and
there.
Detroit Catholic Central.
Yeah, boy, I can't believe it. That's almost a decade ago now, right? It's crazy. A fun time out there, but nice to see a couple of teams that, you know, in Cap City coming down, we talked them up, and Notre Dame Prep, Kraus is one of my favorite guys. He's a great guy. Shout out to him and the work that he's doing there. And John, by all accounts, it sounds like a dandy down there.
The Capital City Capitals went on to win 3-2 in that one. All right, it's time now for our Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. Today, I'm joined with the head coach at Riverview, Gabriel Richard, Ricky DeSana. Ricky, welcome to Hockey Time.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are now halfway through the season. Just talk about your team so far this season and the goals moving forward.
Well, so far we've had a pretty successful first part of the season. We're growing. We have 6 seniors, and we have no juniors, and then the rest is very heavy with freshmen and sophomores. So getting them on the same page as far as your structure, your systems, as far as who to put them with, how to support them, has been a little bit of a task. I think we're getting better each day as far as a hockey team. Some days we feel that we're there, and then the next day we're reminded that we still have far to go.
Well, you guys play in the Metro League. Obviously, you guys got the 2-time Division III state champs in Detroit Country Day. Obviously, got Allen Park and Woodhaven. Just talk about how tough the league is each and every night. And obviously, you can't take a night off.
No, our schedule is very competitive. We've come a long way because when I first started off, we were in the Metro League, and we were this was between 2005 and probably 2010, and we were with Trenton, the Ann Arbor Pioneers when they were powerful, Southgate Andersons when they were powerful, and I think probably my first year coaching, I'll never forget that we got mercied 12 times, and we got out of the Metro League because it wasn't good for our development as far as our rebuilding the program back to be where we are back today as far as in the Metro League and competing with those types of teams and those large of schools. It's something we're really proud of.
And talk about, I've known you for a few years now, and I've noticed with you guys play a tough non-conference schedule. Talk about your mindset when you go into that.
I do my hockey schedule in thirds. So 1/3, I'd like to say that we would beat that team. 1/3 we're even with, and then 1/3 I would like to play that would just kind of beat us up a little bit. And at the end of the year, I would like to be probably right around 500 going into the state playoffs, but battle tested. And then I look back and I see, how did we do against each third? How did we do against the team we're supposed to beat? How did we do against a team that we were equal to? And did we beat anybody that was better than us, that we thought was better than us? Because when it comes to the state playoffs, you're going to face those 3. And so when it comes to state playoffs, you might have to play a team in the first round or 2 that you're better than them, and you guys still go out and do their job, and then you're going to start to face teams that you're equal with. And I believe for us to win a state championship, we're definitely going to have to beat a couple teams that are probably better than us.
And talk about the last couple of seasons. You guys have made it to the Final Four in Division III. Just how special it was for your program. And
our biggest thing was going from Catholic League Division II to Catholic League Division I. We did that 3 years ago. The first year, we got mercied a couple times then too. My athletic director, Chris Dyack, we just kept pushing to get into the Catholic League Division I and to play those tough teams. And that helped us as far as our schedule. So that was a big leap for our program to be able to go into the Catholic League Division I. Because, we did make it to 2 quarterfinal games prior to when we were playing, probably a lesser schedule. But we lost in those 2 quarterfinal games. So I'd like to say that the schedule during the season maybe pushed us through to not losing in the quarterfinal game and getting to the semis the last 2 years, which has been a blessing and an unbelievable fun run.
And lastly, I'll always ask each coach this: why you do this every day? I know you had the opportunity to coach your son Chance in the last few years. Why you do it each and every day?
Well, back in 1979, my brother was a junior playing bad junior hockey, and my dad started the program. So there's a little bit of that I want to make sure I keep the program alive, because we're a 300 and some change high school, and our programs like that, and with numbers as far as attendance like that, if we have a couple bad classes, next thing you know, you're unifying and things like that. So number one is my dad and keeping the tradition alive, and I played here, so a lot of pride there. And then just being able to coach a group of young men and have them do things right and be rewarded and be successful on the ice is very, very rewarding when you see that.
All right, so that's it for our Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. Ricky, thank you very much for joining us here on Hockey Time, and good luck to you guys the rest of the way.
Thank you.
I'm Jenna Skalski, and we wanted to make sure you guys know that State Champs is not just hockey and boys basketball this winter. Beginning January 10th, the State Champs Winter Roundup will feature highlights and stories from girls basketball, wrestling, competitive cheer, bowling, boys swimming, skiing, and girls gymnastics. Watch the State Champs Winter Roundup on your favorite social media platform or catch it at statechampsnetwork.com or on the free brand new State Champs Network app.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
The greatest honor a high school student athlete can earn, the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, DACAthleteoftheyear.com.
Okay, we know what the formula is to win. Get it done. 2 points on the line. Okay, battle for Southside on one. Okay, I don't want to walk in this rink every day, have to look at them, and they own Southside. We own Southside. Get it done.
We go back to the west side of the state. Grand Rapids Catholic Central taking on the Bulldogs from Byron Center. CC coming in at 6-3-3, had a good opportunity in the first period. 2-on-1, Ben Clay feeds it to Jake Onstad, but his shot is denied by Byron Center netkeeper Levi Saul. We're scoreless heading into the first intermission. The Cougars would light the lamp in the second. Onstad's wrister rings off the iron, but Ryan Rawlings is there to put in his 7th goal on the year to give Grand Rapids CC a 1-0 lead. More from the Cougars later in the period. Our National Coney Island Player of the Year candidate, Onstad, is there in front with the redeflection for the goal. Catholic Central heads to the third period, leading 2-1, and they were looking to increase its lead in the final stanza. Byron Center turns the puck over to Onstad. He goes on in and nets his second of the game. He now has 12 goals on the season, and it's 3-1 GRCC. But back comes Byron Center. While shorthanded, Luke Nicholas gets the puck, finishes with the nice backhander for his 5th on the season. Bulldogs now trail 3-2. Byron Center pulls the goalie with under a minute left to get the extra attacker on there, but it would be Onstad getting the puck to Ben Clay. He puts it into the empty netter, and Grand Rapids Catholic Central goes on to beat Byron Center 4-2 your final.
Lauren Plant back with you when we bring you a MAC White Division matchup. Anchor Bay hitting the road to take on Utica Unified at the Fraser Hockeyland Arena. Anchor Bay in red looking to win its 5th game. Under 5 minutes to go in the first, the junior Tyler Hearn puts in his team-leading 11th goal. Tars led 1-0 after the first. Anchor Bay would add more. Hearn gets it to Brody Plants, and not only does he have an incredible last name, the senior pours in his 4th on the campaign. We are still second period, mind you. The Bay on the penalty kill. The senior Evan Prill streaking towards the cage. 2nd of the night, Tars led by a fist into the 3rd. Anchor Bay would add one more in the final stanza. The senior Gavin Walters' first shot is stopped, but the rebound isn't. First goal this season. Anchor Bay shuts out Utica Unified 6-0.
I'm Kevin Drzinski, and to Northeast Michigan we go for the game between Ubly and Tawas. First period, as the junior Joe Ernst goes upstairs for his 2nd goal on the season, and that evened the game at 1. Ubly, however, would respond on the man advantage, as the senior Seth Beagle turns it and fires it into the back of the net, and it would be all Ubly the rest of the way. The junior defenseman Wesley Smith takes it the length of the ice, gets around the defender, and stuffs it home, as Ubly goes on to beat Tawa 6-1, the final.
State Champs Nation, if you're looking for more than just highlights, we recommend you go check out MHSAA TV. There are like 600 high school sporting events that will have live streaming video in the coming week on MHSAA.tv and the NFHS network. And it's not just basketball, wrestling, competitive cheer. There is hockey there too. So go to MHSAA.tv for the schedule. Now, in its 11th year, the school broadcast program gives members an opportunity to showcase excellence in their schools by creating video programming of athletic and non-athletic events. Students get a lot of skills in announcing, camera operation, directing, producing, and graphics. Pixelot is the NFHS network's automated streaming solution. Schools use it to live stream games, even if they don't have the ability to staff the events. The program also gives the schools the opportunity to raise money through advertising and viewing subscriptions.
Hey, it's time for our main event. Before we show you the main event, a big shout out and thank you, debt of gratitude to Alto Equipment Company. Thanks for stepping up and helping sponsor this. Our main event, it's a big one.
Have energy from the bench, have energy on the ice, jump off face-offs, do the little thing details. Let's have a day, let's have a game, let's go do a job, boys. Here we go.
Here we go. Round one between Heartland and Livonia Stevenson as they could face each other up to 3 times during the regular season. Heartland coming in, the 2-time defending Division II state champs. They would get on the board with 4 minutes to go in the opening period. Gabe Patilla out of the corner takes it to the net. It would be his cousin, Adam Patilla, there to put home a rebound. His team-leading 12th goal on the season. Eagles up 1-0 after 1. Livonia Stevenson, looking to win its 8th straight game, would even it up with 7 minutes to go in the second. It's the senior, Nick Justice. He rips it from the point, and it goes into the back of the net. We're knotted up at 1. Less than a minute later, Stevenson on the penalty kill. Our Player of the Year candidate, Seth Louse, takes it the other way. His shot is stopped, but he gets his own rebound, puts it in. Spartans take a 2-1 lead. Later in the second, Stevenson on a 5-on-3 power play. It would be the junior, Brendan Hurd, with the one-timer, his 8th goal of the year. Spartans head into the final period up 3-1. Heartland would cut into the deficit halfway through the third. Joey Nicholas gets it to Seth Ferguson, and the Eagles now trail by a goal. Back comes Stevenson, once again on the penalty kill. It's the senior Louse behind the net. He scores from the impossible angle for his 2nd goal of the game to put the Spartans back up by 2 at 4-2. It's just too much Louse and Stevenson on this night. He gets a pass here from Hurd, breakaway, and he puts in his 3rd shorthanded goal on the game. Louse now has 8 goals on the season as Livonia Stevenson goes on to beat Heartland 5-2 your final. These teams will meet again in a couple weeks in Livonia.
Came down to just effort and competing, and in the locker room we said, we need to settle down, just play our game, get back to things, and that's what we did. And we came out jumping, and executed the rest of the way.
The main event is presented by the Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time.
All right, you just saw our main event between Livonia Stevenson and Heartland. Seth Louse, our Player of the Year candidate, with 3 shorthanded goals.
Unbelievable. It's, you think about that, and I saw Bill Kahn. Bill does such a great job. Bill asked the question in his article, well, how often have you seen that? How about never? I mean, honestly, who has seen that before? What does this mean? Let's try to put this win in perspective. What does this mean? Nothing. You know what? It's bragging rights now for Livonia Stevenson, but how many times have we seen this in the last couple of years, whether it be Heartland, whether it be Trenton, whether it be Livonia Stevenson? These teams are going to beat each other, okay? When all is said and done, I have a strong feeling that Heartland's still going to be one of the teams to beat in Division II. We were just talking about Country Day. Here's a team with Heartland, especially in Division II, that has won back-to-back champions. It's difficult enough to win one. They've won back-to-back. So certainly, they maybe got the ice pack on the head right now. Maybe they're a little bruised. But what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? It doesn't mean much. Give credit to Stevenson, however. They are playing fantastic right now. I think they could make a strong case for being the best team in Division II right now. But let's face it, John, how many times have we seen it? It all starts in late February and moving into March once we get in the playoff.
We go back to the west side of the state. Grand Rapids Catholic Central beat Byron Center 4-2. Another Player of the Year candidate, Jake Onstadt, had 2 goals.
Yeah, you know what? I really like our list right now. I know we're going to get into it more. There are guys that could throw their hat in the list, but right now it's pretty hard to argue with the guys on our list. And you're talking about a guy in Jake that had play defense and shows the versatility to move up front. Mike Slobodnik is another guy. He's been doing it for years out there on the west side. The Cougars are going to be tough to beat. I think the Bulldogs, Byron Center was a team that last year everybody talked about. I remember talking to a couple coaches and they said, well, they're a senior-laden team, you know. Well, guess what? That train kept rolling as well. This is going to be a team to look out for with Byron Center. Right? You know, John, right now, just off the top of my head, if I had to pick a team out there right now, I think it's Granville or Forest Hills NE. Forest Hills NE, as I mentioned, red hot right now, so keep an eye on them.
All right, we go to the Macomb Area Conference. Anchor Bay with a 6-0 win over Utica United. You know, good momentum before they go into the MAC Hockey Showcase in a couple weeks.
Well, there's good hockey being played out there. Not only the teams you mentioned, I think Lance Cruz is another one. We're looking forward to getting out there in Mount Clemens. That's just a couple weeks away. And John, I'm going to say it again. There are some really good teams playing out there. And, you know, the interesting thing about it is, you know, maybe one team will go up and another team will come back down and another team will come up. You know what? When you start putting in the year in, year out effort, and it takes time, this is going to be a very formidable conference. It's already a darn good conference. It's going to be a formidable conference.
And we go to Northeast Michigan. We had Ubley taking on Tawas. You know, a good win for Ubley.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I like to see this. The programs that are just getting started, I think Northeast Michigan, not only is it beautiful, but, you know, you go all along the tip. I mean, you got Alpena up there. Alpena's still getting it done. You come back down. It's nice to see some of these schools get her going up there, and it only makes the game all that much the better in the great state of Michigan.
What's up, Hockey Nation? Lauren Plants here to invite you to check out Hang Time, the show exclusively covering boys basketball in the state of Michigan. We've got more dunks, dimes, and daggers than any other hoop show in the state this week. Besides a ton of highlights, our own TJ Kelly and myself will do a deep dive on some pressing topics, and we've got the BCAM Executive Director Dan Young talking about the playoff seeding changes. All that and more on State Champs Hang Time Michigan, premiering every Thursday at 5 p.m. See you at tip-off.
And it's time now for our National Coney Island High School Hockey Player of the Year update. So, Sean, did you go to Coney Island at all during the break?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I have a really good feeling that I'm going to blow right out of here and go get one with extra onions, too.
Absolutely. And you can cast your vote at statechampsnetwork.com. Sean, does our top 10 stay the same this week?
Yeah, it's going to stay the same. But, you know, what's interesting is, especially over the holiday, I had a chance to talk to a lot of the guys. There are some names out there that you have to be cognizant of. I think Mason Kelly, let's start on the west side. He was on our list. He's off to a great start. It's only going to get better now that Cole Beaufait, is back with Forest Hill Central. We mentioned it earlier, a couple guys with Howell to keep an eye on. Franti's a forward that he's been on the radar for a couple of years, but he's playing well right now. A defender as well in Rossi. And, you know, we talk so much about J.J. Bamberger and the great job he's done with Saginaw Heritage. They've just produced so many good players. Brady Rapoon is a young man that certainly one to keep an eye on. So a lot of guys are kind of knocking on the door, but right now, from the guys that I talked to, we're going to keep this the same one more week. I'm sure some changes will happen.
All right, quickly, Sean, we saw Jake Onstadt and Steph Loss in our highlights this week. What do you like about both players?
Well, you know what's interesting? I think with Jake Onstadt, you know, this is a guy that last year, there were a lot of guys on our committee that were saying he was the best defender in the state last year. He's moved up to forward. I think, if anything, that makes his game that much more important to show that versatility. And Seth Loss is a guy that you've seen him do this in his career, and so many guys talking up his game. And maybe in the past he hasn't been rewarded from a statistical standpoint. And sometimes statistics don't tell the whole story on how good a guy is playing. But when you score a short-handed hat trick, everybody's going to open their eyes then.
All right, remember, you can cast your vote at statechampsnetwork.com. The leading vote getter will automatically get into the Final Four. As of right now, Joey Cremier from Trenton has over 10,000 votes.
Hockey's pretty big downriver. I've heard a rumor. Is that true?
Me being in Trenton, I think that's true.
It's a great thing. So props to all you guys.
And that was your High School Hockey Player of the Year update presented by National Coney Island. All right, Sean, let's preview the week ahead in high school hockey. There's a big one right off the bat on Wednesday night between Grosse Pointe South and Detroit Catholic Central.
Love it. I'm going to get out there for that one, as a matter of fact. You know what? We've seen both of these teams already. I've had a chance to see Catholic Central a couple times. I've only seen Grosse Pointe South once, but to get out there, USA Hockey Arena on a Wednesday night, that's going to be a darn good matchup. Catholic Central just playing so well defensively right now, and I think we know the firepower that Grosse Pointe South possesses.
On Thursday night, you have Ann Arbor Skyline going on the road to Howell.
That's a good one. I love going out there. It's a great barn to go to. And, we talked up Skyline. They were on our rankings earlier. We're going to have updated rankings next week. And Howell, some pretty talented players. Keep an eye on Franti at forward and Rossi on the blue line.
All right, on Friday night, a big one between Trenton at Salem.
Oh, is that beautiful? I mean, hey, let's keep that KLAMIHL thing going on. Two guys that are doing a tremendous job with that team, their teams, two guys that are looking to take the next step. Something's got to give in a matchup like that.
All right, we talked about Grand Rapids Catholic Central earlier in the show. They have to play West Ottawa on Friday and then Forest Hills Northern Eastern on Saturday.
What a banner weekend. I mean, to me, those are two can't-miss games. I'm really intrigued to see GRCC and Forest Hills NE. As I mentioned, Forest Hills NE, the hottest team out there. They can make a case right now that perhaps they're the best on the west side. I think Granville certainly has something to say about that. GRCC might have something to say about that as well if they sweep this weekend.
On Saturday, we have Riverview taking on Ann Arbor Pioneer. Riverview beat Riverview Gabriel Richard during the holiday break, and Ann Arbor Pioneer beat Skyline in the Gillette Cup.
Yeah, you know what? Pioneer's a story. I remember early on in the season, if you remember, you could go back and look in the archives. A lot of guys told me personally, keep an eye on Pioneer. This might be a team to watch, and certainly they haven't been wrong about that so far.
And then finally, this weekend is the big North-South Showcase out in Traverse City. Great hockey up there.
Oh, it's awesome. You know what? I mean, not only are you talking about two good teams up there with TCC and TC West, but, this is a situation as well. You got Stevenson coming in there. You got Saginaw Heritage coming in there. A good Midland Dow team. You got Davison coming in. Alpena coming up. I think a lot of people that, even though we were talking about them last year, I think they started to make a name for themselves playing in some of these tournaments and everything. So they're going to be some great matchups. I'm intrigued. Livonia, Stevenson, and Granville. That's going to be next weekend. I'm really intrigued at that one. So, listen, Bay Reps, how can I forget the Bay Reps up there? There's going to be some darn good hockey. This is one of the tournaments that coaches around the league always talk about. Darn good hockey up there in Traverse City.
Time now for the MHSAA Hockey Clip of the Week, and we go back to our main event. Seth Laws of Livonia Stevenson had himself a night against Heartland, scoring a shorthanded hat trick, including this goal from the impossible angle as the Spartans went on to beat Heartland. And that is your MHSAA Hockey Clip of the Week.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun. We've run out of time. John, it's a pleasure to be with you again. We're going to be doing this the next couple months, ramping you up, of course, into the finals at USA Hockey Arena.
You can follow State Champs on all of our social media channels, and also you can download the new State Champs app. It is now available on iPhone and Android.
Looking forward to it, and we'll see you at the rink.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.